The United Nations estimates that it will take another 100 years to close the global gender gap. But is there a way that technology can help close the gap and empower women? Futurist and co-organizer of the Singularity U South Africa Summit, Mick Mann, joins us in studio to discuss this and other issues. Very good evening to you, Mick, and thank you for coming in. So,
good evening. Thanks for having me.
100 years, we're saying, the United Nations at least is saying it'll take to close the gender gap. But we don't have 100 years, do we?
We definitely don't have 100 years, and I believe that, with the rise of exponential technology, this is going to change. Traditionally, the professional industry has been this elite club that has only been accessible to a certain few, being passed down from generation to generation, or from father to son. It hasn't been passed down from father to daughter, unfortunately. There's a famous old quote by a famous US architect that said, "The first rule of architecture is to be born rich. And the second rule, if you're not born rich, is to marry rich." So you can just see in the way that that language was said, the women were out of the equation. They were meant for the home, they were meant for cleaning the house, for looking after the kids. But now, as we're seeing, as information is becoming democratized through technology, knowledge and information and education is a lot more accessible, and we're seeing this rise of women being educated. And as this happens more and more, we're going to see more women coming into the business landscape.
How specifically does technology help to empower women and then close that gap between them and you and I?
Well, there's a whole new range of skills that technology has created. You no longer have to only do physical tasks. You can now go on a computer, go into an online marketplace and find a whole range of new jobs that weren't available before. And women are very skilled at online work. So I think by this online gig economy that's coming, that's going to definitely increase the amount of women we're seeing in the workplace. And women don't have to be, you can work from anywhere. You can work remotely, you can work from home. So it's allowing women to have a baby and still do some jobs. Or if you look at Uber gives you the freedom of choosing when you want to work and when you want to turn off your work. So we're seeing a lot more female Uber drivers that are coming into the workplace.
Speak to us then, Mick, about the work that you do specifically and your summit and how that ties into the bigger picture.
Well, we are Singularity University South Africa, and we're bringing the Singularity U South Africa Summit in collaboration with Standard Bank on the 15th and 16th of October. And we've focused a lot on bringing powerful, inspirational women that are really making a difference and a dent in the universe. So we've got some women like Stacey Ferreira, who at the age of 25, she's already had 5 careers. She taught herself to program while she was at school. Then once she was 18, she invented an app that got funding from Richard Branson. She subsequently sold that app a few years later, then wrote a best-selling novel, 2 Billion Under 20, and now she's doing speaking gigs, so she's coming to our summit, as well as her new job, which is called Forge, which is a gig economy-based app. So we're bringing these power women to try, instill a sense of confidence that it's not only men that are leading the way in tech and changing the world, it's also women that are doing it.
But I would imagine that you are then treading with caution as you put the summit together, because one of the things that women do say when issues of empowerment are discussed is that they are very uncomfortable with men speaking for women on women issues, instead of saying to them, here is the platform, have your conversation, what do you want us to know, what do you want us to understand, and what are your demands?
Exactly. So that's why we're letting the women that are coming to the summit lead that conversation. They'll be, they're driving the narrative, and they are at the bleeding edge of what's coming next regarding exponential technology. So in robotics, AI, we've got a lady coming, Anita Jolbreda, who's just been rated as the 5th top woman by Forbes as a leading woman to watch in Europe. And she's doing AI, which is artificial intelligence, which you normally would have thought some computer science geek guy was doing. Instead, it's actually her that's leading the way.
How does South Africa fare in this regard compared to the rest of the world?
So I think South Africa, we've got some challenges, but if you look at, in the township economies, women are very powerful in those economies, and a lot of the tavern market is run by women.
Mick, let me thank you. That was futurist and co-organizer of the Singularity U South Africa Summit, Mick Mann, speaking to us on NewsHour.